And thank you for joining my PowerPoint presentation for Dimensions of Social Class. My name is Erica Caro Covalone. This is for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences at Grand Canyon University for the class of Sociology today. The agenda today is defining social class, key characteristics of each social class, personal position within social class structure, social class and links to life chances and well-being, and my final thoughts. In the United States, social class divides groups of people according to factors such as income, education, occupation, and networks. It plays a significant role in directing life outcomes, determining educational choices, career options, residential opportunities, and levels of political and cultural influence. The concentration of wealth and power among upper classes impacts institutions and public policies. As a result, class differences persist across generations and contribute to broader social inequality. Social class reflects both tangible resources and personal experiences that shape access to opportunities and authority. By examining social class, we gain insight into enduring qualities and identifying areas where changes in policy and institutions can help promote greater fairness. Social class in the U.S. is described as a spectrum of categories: upper class, middle class, working class, and lower class. Upper class usually includes those with significant wealth, high-paying jobs, or inherited money. Think of CEOs, celebrities, or major investors. Middle class might include professionals like teachers, nurses, or small business owners, people who can afford a decent standard of living, but may still feel financial pressure. Working class often refers to people in lower wage jobs, sometimes without consistent access to healthcare, housing, or education. The working poor or lower class typically face ongoing financial hardship. They often live below or near the poverty line. They are maybe unemployed or unstable in employment, with low wage jobs, and struggle with housing, healthcare, and education. The upper class is marked by concentrated wealth that often produces income from investments rather than wages, significant economic and political power and influence through control of businesses and policy, and high cultural capital through elite education, exclusive social networks. In terms of income, a benchmark places the top 10% of the US households around 300 to 350,000 per year, though cutoffs may vary by source and region. In 2022, roughly 52% of adults were middle class. Middle class typically has a stable and moderate income that covers basic needs while allowing for some flexible spending and home ownership. Those in the middle class typically hold a college or vocational certification and work in white-collar, professional or skilled technical jobs with relative job security and practices future-oriented financial planning, like retirement savings, access to employer-sponsored benefits, and the ability to invest in education or emergencies. The working class mainly hold jobs that rely on selling labor as manual, service, or routine clerical work rather than owning capital. These positions usually offer modest and often unstable wages with limited benefits, less savings, and limited access to higher paying positions due to their lack of education or vocational training. Whereas the working poor are those who remain near or below the poverty line despite employment. They often hold unstable, low-wage jobs with varying hours, minimal benefits, and high probability of being unprepared for any financial emergencies. This economic insecurity limits their ability to afford essentials like housing, childcare, and healthcare, with structural barriers and lack of savings that block their chances for upward mobility. In sociology, intergenerational mobility is a key measure of social mobility as it represents the degree to which a person's social and economic status differs from that of their parents, revealing movement up or down the class structure across generations. When children achieve higher levels of education, income, or professional status than their parents, This is considered positive mobility or upward mobility. However, when children experience lower status or few resources, it is deemed negative mobility or downward mobility. For example, a child of working class parents who becomes a physician displays positive or upward mobility, while a child of a physician who ends up in a low wage and unstable job demonstrates negative or downward mobility. Looking at personal position in the social class structure. When considering social class and intergenerational mobility, I identify as middle class. Compared to my parents, I've experienced upward mobility in terms of finances, education, and career. I hold a bachelor's degree and I'm pursuing a graduate degree, while my parents' highest education level achievements are high school and an associate's degree. My current job is stable and salaried, offering benefits and regular hours, unlike my parents' lower paid hourly or service-based positions. Shifting from unstable, low-wage work to a middle-class profession illustrates this positive mobility. I have been able to purchase a home, keep an emergency fund, and consistently have access to health care, resources that were unavailable to my parents on a regular basis. These advantages lessen financial risk and reflect a greater security and class stability from one generation to the next. Impacts on access to opportunities and life chances. Middle class typically offers better opportunities, including access to higher education, steady employment, and financial security. This status also offers shield against unexpected economic strains in that savings, credit access, or supportive social networks reduce the risk that one setback could disrupt the whole goals. Being middle class tends to improve physical and mental health by better access to preventative care, healthier food, and living in a safer neighborhood. Middle class usually focuses on hard work, planning for the future, and education achievement. In family life, middle class status may mean more resources for children's development, structured routines, and ability to provide for childcare, extracurricular activities, and savings for college. Conclusion and final thoughts. Social class structure influences nearly every aspect of life, from opportunities afforded to maintaining health, values held, and future planning. Class is not only about income, but also about power, privilege, as well as the systems and institutions like schools and healthcare that unevenly distribute resources. This affects who can thrive and who will struggle, in turn reinforcing inequality over generations. Realizing how social class affects our lives shows that inequality is not random, but deeply ingrained in society. Acknowledging this lays the foundation for building a fairer and more equal world. Thank you.